Thank you, Sam.
Of course.
This is going to be mostly an evening where we can discuss applications, but I did want to share with folks information on community engagement. We do have several of our Invention Education Fellows with us. We have Ed from Southern California, Mark from Minnesota. We've got Don from out there in Oregon. I believe we have Shelley Myron from Arizona. And so there's going to be plenty of time to ask questions and get some of your very specific questions answered about the application that you're working on. For those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Lee Estabrooks, and I'm the Invention Education Officer with the Lemelson MIT program. And I'm joined also by Sam Situ, who is going to kind of drive the show for us tonight. So thanks, Sam, for being here. So let's do a quick recap of what we've covered in the last couple of Tuesday night meetings. We are working on our application, and these are parts of the Invent Team application that require some type of student input. We've talked about the invention proposal and specifically the background information. I've talked to a couple of teachers over the past week, and they were concerned about the 12 pages. One said, oh my gosh, I don't know how we're going to cut it down to 12 pages. And another teacher said, oh my gosh, I don't know how we're going to get it up to 12 pages. So just for those of you who are with us tonight, just know that 12 pages is a good idea. If you can't make it to 12 pages, that's fine. If you're at 13 pages, please don't stress too much. However, 20 pages, stress. Okay, so let's try to keep it around 12 pages. We're also looking for the invention statement to be in this invention proposal document as a separate page. An invention statement is just basically an abstract. It's a one paragraph description of what it is your team is inventing, what it is, why you're inventing it, why it's important, how it's useful and unique, and how you're going to improve the lives of the beneficiaries with this invention. And also part of the invention proposal document is the project organization and timeline. So this invention proposal in total should be no more than about 15 pages. 12 pages for the background information, 1 page for the invention statement, and 2 pages for the project organization and timeline. Are there any questions about that invention proposal? And folks, please feel free to just open up your mics and chat with us. It's a small group tonight, and we'd like to hear your voice. Okay. Also part of the application will be a budget. This budget should include expenditures, proposed expenditures for up to $4,500. That's for the invention itself, plus a $3,000 stipend for the teacher or teachers who are working on this project. I'm going to skip community engagement. I hope you all are having fun taking those team photos. We really love to see the team photos, and try to get the personality of your team included in the team photo. There is an optional special consideration of up to 1 page should teachers want to describe some aspect of your community or your team with us that really doesn't fit anywhere else in the invention proposal. Tonight, we're going to be talking about community engagement. And I tell you, engaging your community is really going to help your work on your Invent Team project move forward. And it's super, super important. So let's talk more about this community engagement. You will, by the way, have a spreadsheet that's a template that you can fill out these community members that you're working with. So please look for that template within SurveyMonkey Apply. So community engagement. I often refer to this spreadsheet as a spreadsheet that you'll keep close by. So you know, who are you going to call? You know, you're not going to, as teachers, you're not going to know everything. And students, please don't expect your teachers to know everything. When you start to work with folks in your community, please add them to your community engagement spreadsheet. Invent teams are constantly engaging their communities. They're working with beneficiaries, mentors, as well as supporters. And then the Lemelson MIT program also engages with Invent team communities through social media, press, and we actually have a community engagement campaign. Mark, I'm wondering, could you maybe offer some words of wisdom as to the importance of engaging your community with an Invent team project, or just an invention project, or one of the build projects that you work on all the time at your school?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we found out is that the minute that the teacher thinks that they need to know everything in order to solve the problem bogs down. I think the best moment that I had as a teacher was the day that I said, you know what, I don't need to understand every problem that the students are going to encounter along the way, and that we can get help from the community. And so one of the things that we've gotten much better at is going out and saying, can you help us? And if we go to a company and they're like, well, we're not really interested, one of the tricks that we use is we always say, can we come in and just do a couple of minutes of a presentation for practice? And every organization says, oh yeah, you can come and practice, we'll listen to it. And it's rare that those students would leave without a really positive response from that company. They just don't know what you can do. And so getting students face to face in front of these mentors, in front of the supporters in your community, it makes a huge difference down the road, because those are the technical experts that can come in and really make a difference, not just with the stuff that's hard, just the thought stuff, but with equipment, with the expertise that you need, with making the connections in your community for tooling and where to get parts. The list is really long.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite stories from you, Mark, is the green paint on your experimental vehicle. That was your Invent team project. And
yeah, so a local hot rod guy has really kind of taken an interest in our projects, and has for years. And I remember Ross Johnson coming in, the painter, and looking at our project, and I said, we want it kind of green, and he got all excited, and he took it. It disappeared. It came back a couple of days later, and it was very green.
It was very green, but
it looked great.
It looked great, and it was something that you all could not do within your school.
That's correct. That's right.
Yeah. So, Ed, I know that you work a lot with companies in your community that often move beyond just, say, mentors and supporters to actually internships for your students.
Yeah, our biggest one is with Boeing and in Huntington Beach. And this is the sort of thing that can come out of a program like the one we're working on, because they may not be able to provide you with whether it be supplies or expertise or whatever, but they might once they see what you're up to, then say, hey, maybe we can take a student or two. It's gotten to the point now where our district is actively pursuing internships with our local community, and telling us, hey, look at what we're doing. And they will show our Invent team and other successes as proof of what students can do, because the high school experience from when we went to school is totally different than what's going on now. It's amazing. One of the things that I wanted to add from what Mark was saying is, as far as reaching the community, use the MIT draw. Everybody knows MIT, and to me, that's what drew me in, right? And the reason why the teachers get an MIT email address, and they'll respond to you. They'll say, "Oh my God, you'll have." We had our local congressperson who came in and visited the team, and did a little spiel. We had a school board member who had never been on our campus, but she wanted to meet the Congress woman, so she was there that one day and got to see what we were doing. Parents that all of a sudden start taking a small interest in what you're doing. Turns out the mayor that I met years ago when we had our team, I now have her son in my
Oh,
class,
no. Do you really?
which is kind of cool. So you just never know where some of these connections are going to lead. And we were just before the meeting started, we're talking about how some of our students have now gone on to graduate and do these amazing things. And I think in no small part to the fact that we kind of guide them through some of these community connections. The internship and things that you mentioned earlier is the sort of thing that I can't teach them in a classroom. They go out there and they just learn things that they would otherwise never see within the school.
And Lee, just to remind everybody that almost every city has an MIT alumni group that loves to hear about these kind of things. And you can find that community group pretty easily. And that's a great resource,
Yes.
especially for some technical expertise.
Yeah, I noticed that Evelyn has joined us. Evelyn's an Invention Education Administrator with the Lemelson MIT program. She's also an MIT alum, and Evelyn has been helping us to identify MIT alums in communities where we have Invent teams. Evelyn, do you want to say hi?
Hi, Lee. I heard that you called on me, but then you broke up a bit. Are you still
Oh.
there?
I broke up. I'm sorry. You didn't hear? Well, we'll check in with Evelyn in the chat, but Evelyn helps quite a lot with identifying the MIT alums. So let's just go a little bit deeper into how Invent teams engage their community. I want us all to keep in mind that within this invention cycle that we're going through, beneficiaries or those end users are central. And so all teams should start to identify who within their community will be their beneficiary. Who can they call on to give them some user feedback as they move forward with designs of prototypes, as well as building and testing prototypes. We do need technical mentors. I mean, even our very technically capable Invent team teachers, they're not technically capable in every single aspect of an Invent team project. So technical mentors can help with design, and they can also test with, or they can also help with building and testing. We see a lot of technical mentors coming into Invent teams to help students with coding, learning how to code, and helping students debug their coding. And we also see folks coming in to help with welding. There's one team that we've worked with where Rusty the welder came in and helped the team. A team is not going to learn how to weld, nor do you want a team to learn how to weld in a short 8-month grant cycle. So this is where you can call on local tradespeople to help your team. Certainly the team should understand what type of welding they're doing, why they're using that weld, what materials they're using. But to expect students to weld in a short period of time is not realistic. All Invent teams have some technical mentors. Again, remember, this community engagement list that you're putting together is who are you going to call list. Now, your technical mentors might be with you over a longer period of time. However, there are also ad hoc mentors, or sometimes we call them just-in-time mentors. These are mentors who come in and help out for a short period of time on something that you're needing to figure out quickly. Or I've used two examples here. I remember one team who utilized their Toastmasters club to assist students with practicing their public speaking. And another team called on the marketing expertise of a mom who assisted with designing displays for Eureka Fest. So those are the types of people who can come maybe in and out and help on an as-needed basis. And then also Invent teams will engage their community eventually to help raise funds for the Eureka Fest trip. And I did explain to a couple of teachers this past week about the Eureka Fest trip. The Lemelson MIT program does not pay for the transportation from your school, from your community to MIT and home. So this is something that the teams will have to fundraise for. But quite honestly, supporters come forward when you share your good work within your community. And teams do not need to worry about fundraising until March of the Invent team year. So that's not something to be concerned about right now.
So Lee, can I talk about that ad hoc mentors thing? Because
sure.
of course it happened to me today. I was telling Ed that we're in the process of building a hydrogen fuel cell car, and we know nothing about how to run the stainless steel lines that we need to plumb that hydrogen fuel cell. So we called a company here in town, Swaglock, Minnesota, and it's a international company, but they have a Midwest branch, and they sent a trainer over to school today so that she could teach the students how to correctly fit all of the connections, all the stainless steel tubing, how to bend the tubing. It didn't cost us anything for her to come out. In fact, she was so impressed with the program that she went back, and now they're just giving us all the connectors for free.
Oh, wow.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, people in the community, they don't know. They just don't know what high school students are capable of doing. They don't know what's going on inside the building. And oftentimes teachers and students don't know what's going on in their own community. So don't be afraid to email, cold call, learn what's going on right around you.
I also
go ahead, Ed.
Sorry. I also use the expertise within school, as Lee mentioned. For our particular program, we needed chemistry. I know very little about chemistry, so I said, "Hey, go talk to Mrs. So-and-so, our chemistry teacher," and she got them, testing beakers and whatever. So they were more than happy because it was something that they knew something about, and we did not.
Here's my other big secret is, if you need something from a company, never talk to the salesman. Always call and ask to speak to one of the engineers, because there's a pretty good chance they have what you need sitting on a shelf that's got a big scratch in it, or the case is dented, and they're like, "Oh, we have one of those back here and we can't sell it." So they either give it to you or give it to you at cost. So great trick.
All good points. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what the Lemelson MIT program does for community engagement. We are constantly engaging within, as last year we had 8 invent teams, this next year we'll have 8 invent teams. We're constantly engaging with your communities. We're engaging through social media. We're engaging through press releases. We'll do a national press release. We'll also do templates for you to do local releases, not only for when teams receive an Invent Team grant, but also for the mid-grant technical review, and again for Eureka Fest. And then we do a very large community engagement campaign. And this is a letter campaign that we embark on in January and early February, where we highlight the mid-grant technical reviews that the Invent teams put on. And we actually reach out to elected officials and civic leaders on your behalf. Basically, we shine the spotlight on the work that you're doing locally, and we let people know what great work is going on right in their own backyard. And we encourage elected officials and civic leaders to come to the mid-grant technical reviews. You know, Ed, I don't know if that's how we got folks to come visit you, but this is something that we found is highly beneficial to the school during the Invent Team year, but also it makes connections in the community for following years.
Oh
So
yeah,
these are
you'll
some-
get you'll get an invitation to bring your team to the city council meeting and to take a picture with the mayor, and then you can use that to then further help with your fundraising efforts too, because now the level of visibility has gotten greater. Absolutely.
Yeah, we had a team this last year from West Virginia. They were invited to present their project to the State Board of Education. And after they were with the State Board of Ed, they went to the state capitol and were presented with a Senate proclamation for the good work that they were doing. And that's a big deal, you know, for teachers as well as the students, and it's just great for the community. So are there any questions up to this point about community engagement? Has anyone actually looked at the spreadsheet and all the little fields that you can fill in? You know, we call it community engagement, but what you're creating here is your innovation ecosystem. And these innovation ecosystem connections will benefit you not only this year, not only on this project, but in future years and on other projects that you seek to do that improves the lives of others in your own community. Hey, Doug, I think I saw that you joined.
Yep, I'm here.
Doug, can you talk about some of the community engagement that took place in Natick with your Invent team?
Sure. Yeah, we ended up with a lot of positive community engagement between elected officials at our mid-tech review, like you had said.
Mm-hmm.
We also ended up with, we had a Natick Army Labs. There's a soldier support center in town that they work on everything from backpacks to jackets and things that soldiers would wear. And they caught wind of what we were up to, and we ended up doing quite a bit of work with them. And then they actually, that kind of springboard, they all kind of like springboards off each other. You'll end up with, you know, you'll get some connection and help and some publicity through one group. and then another group will catch on, and then it just keeps going and going. And in my 20 years, that type of connection and publicity that was generated through Lemelson MIT was the greatest that I've ever seen through anything I've ever done. Because, you know, we're all teaching during the day and everything, but the LMIT staff, you know, they're working behind the scenes with both themselves and also groups that they hire on and contract to help with all this. And it just kind of keeps feeding itself and gets, like Ed said, it takes it to a next level. It's pretty impressive, and it's really exciting for the kids because, you know, every year, you know, your football team wins a game and they get a lot of press and notoriety and all this sort of stuff. Very rarely do the kids that are involved in some of the things that we're doing get that type of recognition. And when it comes, it's a big deal. And it really, to be honest with you, as far as what I saw, it surpassed anything else I saw at the school. And it really made the kids feel special. And also the teachers too. I mean, it's, you know, it's no joke. I mean, when you see some of the stuff that you're doing with kids highlighted like that, it makes a big deal, and it feels good.
So Doug, I know that you have since changed schools since you had your Invent Team project. Did any of your community connections move with you, or did they stay in Natick? Came
with me. Yeah, after all that great community engagement, I decided to part ways with the community. No, I had a great opportunity to go to another district and kind of start from scratch again. And it was pretty exciting. Like, I know Shelley's doing that right now, and it's exciting to do that. But when I did that, no, I had people come with me. I had a lot of the mentors that helped out on the project itself. They came with us, and they're still with us. I still am in communication with some of those folks, and they come in and help out our students now in another school that's, you know, 10 miles away. At the state level, a lot of the people that I met through the Department of Education, I'm still able to reach out to them, and we still have a connection. I have a person this week I'm going to meet with about computer science, scope and sequence K through 12 that, you know, was definitely part of the attention that we got through this. And also, I mean, just, it sounds crazy, but I think Mark mentioned like the fundraising, or maybe it was Ed, that it gets like, this publicity helps with your fundraising a ton. And I even had somebody that was donating money towards the team. And when I left the district I was in, they called me up and said, my money goes with you. And wow, for the next 3 or 4 years, as I was getting a new program going, they were giving me $5,000 a year to build up another program. And I needed it because at the time I was starting out with a very low to no budget and kind of building up again. So yeah, it's no joke. I mean, it stays with you. This is not something that you just do and then you put it away. Yeah. So once Lee puts her hooks into you, she's got you for life. How's that?
Hey, but I think I heard that Rusty the welder retired.
Rusty the welder retired, but he's in California and he still still communicates with us. And
that's right. He's in Southern California, right?
Yep, he is. And he still sends me things when he sees things that would be good for the kids. And I still send him questions sometimes because he's pretty smart guy. And yeah, I mean, those people stay with you. They don't just go away, because this project is so special, again, in so many ways, that it just stays with people. And it's almost like when you have a relationship with, you know, people you played on a team with or whatever in high school, you can meet with them having not seen them for a few years. And it's like the conversation just picks up where it left off. And I think all of the teachers that are on here, you know, that have had teams in the past would tell you that, like, those people just stay connected. It's a really a neat situation. So there's a lot of good things that come out of it that you just don't anticipate.
Yeah, thank you for jogging my memory that Rusty is in Southern California.
He is, and he's actually volunteering at a auto museum, and he's working on cars from like the 1920s and 30s now.
Wow.
And he sends me these crazy, looks like cars from like the Beverly Hillbillies, these crazy old Rios and all sorts of stuff that he works on. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Awesome. Thanks, Doug. So that kind of concludes our short overview tonight on community engagement. As we've done in past weeks, I thought it might be helpful to go over for educators what maybe should be on your to-do list for this week. I urge you all to follow up with the administrator who's submitting a letter of support or recommendation. Make sure they do this. 2 weeks from tonight is the application due date. Please don't think that your administrator is doing this without following up, only to find out on September 6th that they didn't do this and your application is not complete. I know it's a terrible time of year to be checking in with administrators, but please don't get hung up on the letter. Assist students to set deadlines on their contribution. Help everyone to know when their part of the background information is due so that someone can put the 12 to 15 page document together and to still have time to proofread it. Remember, I've said before that our judges love pictures and our judges hate typos. Confirm with your students when you will receive documents to upload. For instance, when will you receive the team photo? Have a proofreader standing by. And also this week right now is your week for feedback from Lemelson MIT and the Invention Education Fellows. I've been asked to provide feedback already, which is great. We love to give feedback. Keep in mind that our feedback happens to be our opinions. The project is yours and your students, and you can choose to take the feedback or simply say thanks for the feedback and save the comments to use at a later time. But feedback is good, whether you use it or not. So please reach out to me if you'd like us to review those 12 to 15 pages so that you have time next week to make changes, to iterate, and to upload. Now, I know that there's some students with us tonight. So students, here's your to-do list for this week. Have you taken your team photo? This is really something that the students should be doing. This isn't for the teacher. Remember, in that team photo, we'd love to see your personalities come out. I'd love to see a little bit of background of the school. You know, we're not looking for a perfectly posed picture, if you will. We're just trying to get to know you all and to help you become real to the judges who will be reviewing and ranking the applications. I guess I should say that those of us here that have been with you for the last 5 weeks, we're here to help you put together the best possible application you can put together, but we don't judge, okay? Our judges are a national group of judges, and they won't know anything about you or your team other than what is in the document that you're preparing and the fields that your teachers are completing in SurveyMonkey Apply. Students, bring your contributions to a close. Don't wait, even though the application isn't due to be uploaded until September 6th. Please don't wait until September 5th to provide your contributions to your teammates and to your teacher. Don't know, but if some of you have some extra time, let your teammates and your teacher know. Ask if there's something that you can do to help. And as I've said before, inventing is just plain fun. So you've got 2 weeks here to have fun, to work together as a team, to bring your application to a closure for right now. Now, we know that the invention that you propose on September 6th isn't going to be the invention that you finish up with, should you be selected as an invent team, and bring your invention to MIT. Inventions morph. Inventions morph because your knowledge grows, your skills grow, your community engagement brings people into your world who can help you build differently, build better, build faster. So this is a starting point. The application is a starting point, but we need to see that there's a real passion for your problem, that you have a team together, that you know where you're going to be going in the next few months. And, you know, that just comes through in those 12 to 15 pages. Again, if you pull all of your work together this week, and if you'd like either myself or one of our Invention Education Fellows to review and provide feedback, we can do that sooner rather than later. Please understand that not this weekend, but the following weekend is a holiday weekend. And we've got dedicated Invention Education Fellows, but I do not expect them to be working over their holiday weekend reviewing applications for you. So if you want feedback, now's the time to get it. Remember, many hands make light work. Communicate what you're working on. There's not time here to duplicate efforts. So communicate well with each other. And now I'm just going to open up our meeting for general questions that anyone has about the application. Questions, anyone?
Yes, hello. Good evening or good afternoon, everyone. The question I have is, I was wondering, we also need to work on our resumes, right? So, do you think you can like provide us with a template on how to do our resumes?
Only the teachers need to do a resume.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, and also about the community engagement,
Mhm.
I was reading the application and it said that there is a template for it.
Mhm.
Where can I find it?
I'm going to ask Sam. Sam, isn't that a link in SurveyMonkey Apply?
Yep, it should actually be in that section where it's talking about the community engagement. There should be a link to download an Excel sheet.
Okay, thank you. I'll look for it because I was looking for it, but
Yeah,
wasn't
if you
able to
s-
find anything.
still
And
can't
it's-
see, you can reach out to us and I can forward it to you.
Okay, thank you.
And also that's where you'll find the budget, a link to download the budget template also.
Okay, thank you.
Good questions. If you had those questions, others did too. Any other questions, folks? Adriana, how's your team doing?
We are good. Sorry. We're good. We are now finishing up some documentation, and we also did some surveys with the school. And we
Super.
actually found out like our school is actually like really trying to help us because a lot of students contribute to that survey.
Super. Great to hear. Anyone else? Don, any words of wisdom for folks that are with us tonight?
Just keep meeting with your kids and make sure that you have you know who your customer is that will be using the invention. If you know who your customer is and you can talk to them a little bit, just the conversation with them will often lead you into good things to put in the application.
Yeah. Good point. Paulina? You're muted, Paulina. Do you want to say something?
No. Oh, damn. Paulina's with me, but her mic's
Oh.
not working.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not going to hang out here too much longer. Please feel free to send questions my way. I'll parcel them out. Hopefully we'll get some of the applications in to provide some feedback on in the near future. And just know that we're cheering each and every one of you on. We want each of you, each team to submit a competitive final application. One thing that we have heard in the past, well, we've heard it over and over and over again, is that by the time a team submits an Invent Team application, they say that they're going to do the project regardless of whether or not they receive an Invent Team grant, because they are totally engaged with the problem and really want to work for a solution. So, you know, a little pep talk tonight. Don't give up. Keep at it and let us know how we can help you. And if there are no other questions, I'll say good night. Okay. Ed?